So I am extremely honored to see you again is it 3 years in a row? We have changed the format every year just to give you a little bit of change, different taste of the event as well. And this is the heart of defense where we are celebrating Vaisakhi, hopefully by reflecting on the teachings of 10th Guru, Guru Gobind Singh Ji. And I will touch on that, why I say that. In the spring of 1699, Guru Gobind Singh Ji institutionalized the order of committed Sikhs, and commonly known as Khalsa Panth, as we call them today as well. The Panth was established as a result of the contributions made by the 9 Gurus preceding 10th Guru, Guru Gobind Singh Ji. So the groundwork was already laid out by Guru Nanak Dev Ji, the first Guru, and had been cultivated by each subsequent Guru. Now, what had developed was a community of devoted Sikhs who felt a greater responsibility towards Sikhs everywhere, but also community at large, wherever they may be, whosoever is in need. After initiating 5 devoted Sikhs in the presence of the congregation, we all know what happened, or at least we know if you've read the story. The Guru asked them to initiate him now in the same manner. This has never happened before in the history, that the teacher is asking disciples to give him something. The teacher has always kept that higher space in the history. But he emphasized the responsibility, authority, and the credibility of his disciples in the form of Khalsa only. Not anybody can do that, but if you are the member of Khalsa, then Guru Gobind Singh Ji gave that authority and power to basically work on those lines. And why was that? I wonder. Those who stood up to be the member of Khalsa paid the ultimate price. They were prepared to give their head. They surrendered themselves. So they earned that credibility by being the member of Khalsa. Once an individual receives Amrit through the Sikh initiation ceremony, we have a ceremony and those who volunteer to go through that ceremony, that person then lives according to the Sikh Rahat Maryada. What is that? A Sikh code of conduct. And in the decision to become member of the Khalsa order, so nobody forces anybody to become a member of Khalsa order. It's someone who wants to become the member of Khalsa. Once you make that decision, one voluntarily surrenders the self to the Guru, indicating a continuous effort to live according to the Guru's wisdom. And not only to live for self, to live for extended family. Who is extended family for us? Anyone? What do you think? Who is extended family for us? Yeah. Exactly. Human race. So from once you're a member of Khalsa, you're not living for yourself. You're not earning money to just your bread in your own house, but you're taking that outside as well. And we will have someone speaking from the Khalsa side later as well, who will talk about that concept, that how Khalsa is living that concept even today. As initiated, Khalsa strives to develop a morality, education, and worldview such that the wisdom of the divine inhabits every atom of his or her being. So this is not part-time. Being a Khalsa cannot be part-time. Even one wishes to be. That I chose to behave in a certain way when I'm in the Gurdwara or in congregation or somewhere else where I'm seen, but I actually become somebody else when I'm at home or when I'm not seen. But this is something else. Khalsa is in every atom of your being or my being or whosoever chose to be member of Khalsa.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. There's a huge echo in this building and there's a lot of background noise, so please do signal if my voice drops a bit. I'd like to start my talk by thanking the MOD for hosting this Vaisakhi conference. I regret that you see on the program Earl Howe, the Defense Secretary, should be here, but there's a debate, the debate I'm going back to about defense, and unfortunately he's had to be there. The North Indian Spring Festival of Vaisakhi has added significance to Sikhs. It was on Vaisakhi Day in 1699 that our 10th Guru, Guru Gobind Singh, chose to form the Khalsa. The Khalsa is the community of committed Sikhs. Vaisakhi is celebrated with colourful processions, Bhangra dancing, and displays of martial arts. What we sometimes seem to forget is that these festivities are merely the starters. The main course, reflection on the meaning and relevance of Vaisakhi, is often ignored, and our young are sometimes left unaware of the central message of Vaisakhi, the need to stand up and be counted for our total commitment to the inspiring and egalitarian ideals of the Gurus, to do so at all times. It's a powerful message relevant to us all, particularly to the increasingly inward-looking world of today. For me, the story of Vaisakhi begins with the persecution of Hindus by the Mughal rulers, particularly in Kashmir. In those terrifying times, a refusal to convert to the Mughals' warped version of Islam led to fines and even death and torture. In desperation, a delegation of Hindu priests went to Guru Tegh Bahadur, the 9th Guru. They said to the Guru, "We know that you do not believe in many of our teachings, but you and earlier Gurus have always stood up for the right of all people to worship in their manner of their choice. Will you help us? Will you go to the Mughal authorities, to the Mughal emperor, and speak on our behalf?" The Guru agreed to do so, knowing that it would probably cost him his life. When he got to Delhi, the Guru was first offered lavish bribes, and then, which he refused. He was then cruelly tortured. He refused to convert to Islam. He was then cruelly tortured. Then, on a cold winter's day in 1675, the Guru was publicly beheaded for his courageous stance, to stand up for a religion that was different to his own. It was the philosopher Voltaire who famously declared, "I may not believe in what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it." Nearly a century earlier, Guru Tegh Bahadur gave this very noble sentiment practical utterance. Those in the crowd who then had no visible Sikh identity were intimidated, and the Guru's body was eventually removed by stealth. The 10th Guru, Guru Gobind Singh, was a boy of 9 at the time of his father's martyrdom. He wanted to be sure that Sikhs in future would always stand up, no matter how daunting the circumstances, that they'd always stand up for their beliefs. Then, some years later, on the spring festival of Vaisakhi in 1699, he decided to put the community to the test. He asked for volunteers to come forward who are willing there and then to give their life for their faith, that is, for the principles taught by the Guru. A Sikh followed the Guru into the tent. Then the Guru emerged alone with a sword seemingly covered with blood. The crowd was stunned to silence, fearing for the life of the volunteer. But more Sikhs still came forward in response to the Guru's challenge. After 5 Sikhs had entered the tent, the Guru again emerged, but this time, to everyone's joy, followed by all 5 Sikhs, wearing the symbols, the 5 Ks, by which we are recognized today. The Guru was delighted. He'd tested the courage and commitment of his Sikhs, and the community had come through the test with flying colors. He now knew, and this is very important for every Sikh, he now knew that the infant Sikh community could stand on its own without the guidance of any living Guru. When Sikhs on that historic Vaisakhi day, Guru Gobind Singh tested Sikhs and decided that the infant Sikh community was now able to stand on its own without any guidance from any further living Guru. He emphasized that we should follow the ethical teachings of the Guru Granth Sahib, the teachings of the Gurus, as we would a living Guru. One of the greatest threats facing Sikhs today is the proliferation of sects, babas, deras, and, may I add, some intellectuals and so-called scholars who feel that they have deeper insights into Sikh teachings than the rest of us. Sikh teachings are self-evident. They're extremely easy to say. It's like a guide through life. You don't need the scholars. You just read it and follow it. The trouble is, they are easy to state and difficult to follow, and therefore we do anything but actually follow the guidance. The challenges of Vaisakhi come to us every day. That is the challenge to live true to those teachings. They come to us in different forms. In whatever we do, wherever we are, there is a challenge. As the poet Emily Dickinson reminds us, we cannot choose our battlefields. That God does for you. But we can plant a standard where a standard never flew. We can make a stance. We cannot choose the challenges of daily living, but we can all commit ourselves to stand up to injustice and suffering, as Khalsa Aid reminded us. Stand up to those that oppress the innocent and work for social and political justice. We must work both individually and as a community to ensure that the light of the Guru's teachings reach the furthest corners of our troubled world. This is the responsibility to which we pledge ourselves every Vaisakhi. Thank you for listening to me.
Lord Singh, thank you very much for sharing your wisdom. And I know you were very busy in the House of Lords today, as Earl Howe couldn't make it because of the same reason. But you made it, and thank you very much. And also Lord Singh acts as endorsing authority for the Sikh chaplains in the British Armed Forces as well. And he has been a continuous support, so thank you so much for your time and sharing that wisdom. Now it's the time for kids. They're here, finally, hooray! So it took us a long time to bring them inside the building. So let's encourage them so that they have the courage to do more of these events. Thank you so much for coming. I'll invite Panji to now introduce and give it a talk about the school.
We have, as Panji said, Nishkam School from West London, an amazing multi-faith school with a multi-faith representation, as you see.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to our Vaisakhi presentation. Today we have 3 items that we have put together for you. Number 1, Mool Mantar. Mool Mantar is the first paragraph in the Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. It means that we were all part of one divine light. Number 2, we have a Shabad to share with you, which is written by the 10th Guru Gobind Singh Ji. And it means that only those that have a pure heart may find God. Finally, we have a surprise song to share with you, which we think explains the message of Vaisakhi. Please put your hands in your heart center, take a deep breath in, and exhale. And we shall begin.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਿਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਸਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਸਭ ਪਿਆਰ ਸਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ doesn't make choices. It doesn't make choices. When we love everyone. When we love everyone. We don't make choices. We don't make choices. When we pray for everyone. When we pray for everyone. We don't make choices. We don't make choices. Nanak naam chaddi kala e pare sarbat da bala. Nanak naam chaddi kala e pare sarbat da bala. Tere pare sarbat da bala. Tere pare sarbat da bala. Waheguru ji ka khalsa, Waheguru ji ki fateh.
Right. Waheguru Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Fateh. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special show that we're doing from the Ministry of Defence. We came in through the north door and we discovered hundreds of people here that have come together from different departments, as well as invited guests, speakers. We've had people from Khalsa Aid. We've also got the wonderful Lord Inderjeet Singh with us as well. So we'll be circulating around and talking to different guests that are here. Just a festival at the end of the day, just to give you a quick summary of what it's about. It was done, I think it's the third year in a row, wonderful organisers who got together to bring greater awareness about what is Vaisakhi in terms of its festival, the importance of Sikhi, and really kind of share the aspects of our religion as well. The fact that we fight for liberty and freedom for other people, the importance of the creation of the Khalsa. I'm here, as I said before, with Inderjeet Singh. Waheguru Khalsa. Thank you so much for joining us today and also giving us a wonderful, inspiring speech where you spoke about the key things about how the Khalsa came together, our never-ending Guru, which is in the Guru Granth Sahib, the story of Guru Gobind Singh, how he set up the Khalsa. He was initiated himself by the five.
Showed the humility. He was showing that the Khalsa are all equals, including himself. Now that is something remarkable. And as I said, liberty, equality, fraternity and all that, but in Sikhism, plus humility. Very, very important.
I think it's very important. I think the humble aspect, you know, the story of selfless service, the continuing thing that you do something for other people, but you don't expect anything back in return. That's a powerful thing. You know, we also, when we were listening to you, you were talking about the fact that he gave his entire family, Guru Gobind Singh, you know, to Guru Tegh Bahadur's father, his children, his mother, you know, that's an incredible sacrifice.
It was a huge sacrifice, and it's an inspiration to us all. If he could do that, cannot we take a stand in the office or the workplace or wherever we are? We must. We have that inspiration.
When you're in the House of Lords, you know, do some of those ideals come to you where you're thinking through and understanding policy?
They certainly do, and they, this afternoon when I'm speaking, I'm going to be very unpopular because I'm going to tell some home truths. It's about, the debate is about defence, how poor Britain is surrounded by evil countries, how we alone have democracy. That is all hypocrisy, how evil it is to kill people with chemical weapons. Of course it is, but it's equally evil to bomb them, not only in Syria, but these three countries that did the bombing there. They're all supplying arms, huge billion-dollar contracts to Saudi Arabia to bomb people in Yemen. Yes, men, women, children, and infants. Now, that is something to be ashamed of. But there's too much arrogance. And when I say it, I may not be very popular.
I think it's a complicated situation, isn't it? You know, there's historical aspects in terms of trade of nuclear, of weapons, as well as, you know, warheads. We hope that people use them in a way, sometimes defensively, not to, you know, bombard other people. sometimes they are deterrents. There is that theory as well, isn't there?
There is, and we should look at to the preamble to the United Nations Charter, which said to prevent future conflicts, we must recognize that all people are equal. As a last recourse in event of conflict, we can take arms, but it's a last resort. And anyone who knows about Sikhism knows it is the Sikh teaching. It is a parallel of Sikh teachings. But after the setting up of the United Nations, it fell to bits because the members of the Security Council said, we are more important than others. We can have arms, we can have nuclear weapons, we can have a privileged status in the UN, and that is not equality to my mind. It is not recognized that 80% of the arms fueling the conflict throughout the world are supplied by members of the Security Council. If that was a public board, it would be forced to resign, because they're all in it, including Russia and China, for themselves. They are playing dangerous 18th century politics in the 21st century.
You would have thought that after the World Wars of I and II, you know, the enormous contribution, by the way, of the Sikhs as well, it's important that we recognise that too, especially at events like this too. And I see that there are people here from, the services, and it represents all the services that are represented by the Department of Defence. You know, water, land, air. Do you think that the fact that it's recognised enough in education? I mean, the reason why I mention that is purely because sometimes to teach kids about the contribution of people that came from different lands. Means they have a greater respect, you know?
That's absolutely true, that when my daughters are now grown up, but one of them brought home a book. It talked about the contribution of people from the Commonwealth to the Great War, people from Canada, New Zealand, Australia. There was no mention of anyone from the subcontinent. I took it up with the publishers, and they did revise it. Even here, in this country, in the Cenotaph service, marking November the 11th, the end of the First World War, we would hear commentaries that representatives of all the different faiths are here. We have the Christians, the Anglicans, the Catholics, the Jews, and the Free Church. No mention of any other faith. I took it up with Blair and Downing Street and gave them a roasting about it. Ever since then, we have had participation from other faiths in the Senate.
I also think
we need to keep at it.
We need to keep at it, and I think in modern day movie making, you know, Dunkirk, where are the Sikhs in there? The Battle of Gallipoli, where are the Sikhs shown in the Water Divine, the movie by Russell Crowe? You know, it seems, what about all the soldiers that lost their lives in Belgium? We don't seem to see that, you know.
We have so much to do, and when I say we all have an opportunity to do something to push the world in a better direction, certainly those in the film industry or close to it should lobby to get changes. And if we're somewhere else, I mean, I look after the Sikh prison chaplaincy. We used to go to a meeting, I was invited to a meeting, and I think we had a Muslim there as well. This was about 15, 17 years ago. And the meeting were all Church of England and Jewish representative. And if either of us spoke, we were at the end of a long table, they'd look at us horrified. How dare we speak even? Now, we've managed to change that into a multi-faith chaplaincy where we have representatives of all faiths. But it hasn't been easy, and it's still not actually even and fair. But we have to keep struggling, and I feel I'm spending my life fighting this person or that person. I went to see someone the other day about the use, Sir Alan Moses, who's the head of the IPSO press regulation, about the constant use of the word Asian to describe crimes that are actually Muslim. Why not use Muslim? I said that when you had the Holocaust in Europe, you didn't say that it was Europeans responsible. You said you pinpointed it to the Germans and even further to the Nazis. Why do we have to use this mesh to safeguard one community?
I think
in the end, to my surprise, he has agreed to issue a press guidance on this. And so if they break that guidance, we can complain.
I think it's incredible, the work that you're doing. It may seem really hard. You have to constantly write and meet people, but it is really worth it. We really appreciate it. I think what we have today is a fantastic representation of what people can do together, what the organising committee have done that have brought about this particular programme. Thank you so much for your time that you've come down. I really appreciate it very much.
It's my pleasure. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Waheguru Khalsa, Waheguru Fateh. I'm actually here with Dr. Preet Chadha, very good friend of mine, actually, coincidentally. Good to see you here. I was wondering if you're looking at my Instagram feed that you knew I was here.
I promise I didn't look. I wasn't snooping.
Okay, so I just wanted to ask you just a quick question. You got an invitation, that's fantastic. It's a really lovely event. What's your impression so far of what you've seen? Valuable?
I think it's really good to see that the Sikh community is recognized by the government and by the military, and to be in this building where, to get in took half an hour because of the security, but I felt very privileged that all of these people are here. They appreciate, and what you don't realize is in this courtyard I saw people looking down. So people in the building have been invited to the event. So the awareness of the Sikh faith is high anyway, but to show that appreciation, and now there's tabla playing, we had kirtan and so many other things going on. So I was over the moon actually to see that this level of recognition is ongoing in this event.
That's really good. And they had lovely kirtan as well from the kids, right?
The kids were amazing. Actually, she is a very good teacher. And
that's Navleen, yeah?
Navleen Kaur. And she's done a great job. And it was nice to see again the Sikh appreciation of all these faiths. So we didn't just have Sardar Bache, we had other kids there too. I think we got a Muslim and maybe a Chinese girl, I don't know quite. But anyway, just to see that appreciation that we're living our values, which is amazing. And I thought the speech by the Sikh chaplain to the army, I think was very, very good. So she did a great job. And again, she was saying, our duty as Sikhs is not just to help our own communities, to help the world. And then that was followed, luckily, by someone from Khalsa Aid talking about the good work that they're doing around the world, which was very insightful.
Absolutely. So, Dr. Preet, thank you so much. Good to see you, Dr. Preet Chadha.
Thank you.
We see you around.
See you.
Next time you see my Instagram feed, you know where I am. I'm here with a couple of wonderful people in uniform, Christian, and also Sarbjeet as well. Welcome to the quick interview to ask you about your views on coming to the Vaisakhi at the Ministry of Defence. I'll start with you, Christian. You've got a particular interest, haven't you? Because also there's a movie coming out too, isn't there?
There is. There's a movie of Saragari Day coming out, but we have a celebration this year, every year since 2013, of Saragari Day, which is taking place at the Army Reserve Centre in Southall this year on the 15th of September. And we wanted to show the shared heritage between the Sikh community and the British Army and recognise the sacrifice of the 21 Sikhs who died in the Battle of Saragari.
But people that don't know about it, so there were 21 Sikhs. Very quickly, what actually happened at the battle?
They were in a communication tower between two larger forts, and the Afghans decided to attack this communication tower, which should block out the communication between the two forts. Unfortunately, there was only 21 very brave Sikh soldiers there, and the forts weren't able to reinforce them, and they were attacked by between 4,000 to 10,000 Afghans, and they fought courageously to the end. Every single one of them was awarded the Empress of India medal, which is slightly below a VC. Two Gurdwaras were built on the back of it in recognition of the sacrifice by the Sikh community. and it's always been celebrated by the Indian Army. And after 1947, it drops out of the British Army, but we're now brought it back in 2013 to strengthen our joint heritage.
That's wonderful to see. I really love the fact that you used the term heritage. There's a tremendous heritage between India and the UK.
Of course, I mean, there's 300 years of shared heritage. The contribution from the Indian community to Britain has been fantastic. And you just look at, India, the world's largest democracy. We are entwined so deeply, and it's so important that we recognise each other's communities and work together.
Thank you, Christian, for that. Really appreciate it. Thanks so much for your time. Sarji, over to you. So you come all the way from Andover.
Yes, yeah. First of all, Vaisakhi Khalsa, Vaisakhi Ki Fateh. All the viewers and the Khalsa Panth wish you all very happy Vaisakhi on the behalf of Armed Forces. The reason we are here today, obviously, we were celebrating Vaisakhi at the MOD main building. So we just invite other people to come along and join and see what culture and values we hold within the armed forces, and how using our Sikh values and faiths, and how we can incorporate with our daily routines, and how can we excel in our career.
How much do you know about the past in terms of the Sikhs and how they came over? Is that something that inspired you to join the army?
Definitely. Who doesn't know the past of the Sikh history and the Sikh country?
You'll be surprised that many people don't know, actually.
I'm sure these modern days, and I'm sure we need to aware that, or make awareness to the people, and should need to educate them. Obviously, I've been in the army for 14 years of myself, and being a Sikh, we always thrive. We belong to a warrior class. We are warriors and we're soldiers, and we stand for the right things and we fight for the right things. The contribution made by the Sikh soldiers, Sikh regiment in World War II, obviously 80,000 Sikh soldiers lost their lives. So we, as a Sikh soldier in these modern days, we are here to represent them. We're carrying on the legacy, we're carrying on the history, which has been faded in some way, as you said it, and hopefully we're going to do our best, and we're not going to be any equivalent to their sacrifice they made, but in the modern day, anything we can do to be part of society and to represent Sikhs and our warrior class in the modern society, more than happy.
Just one very quick question. What do you think? Do you think this kind of event is important? And why?
Personally, I think that's definitely important, because these days now every community is represented by some sort of a network. So, for example, within the armed forces, we have a British Armed Force Sikh Association, and I'm the chairman of that. The opportunity we actually explore in here by liaising with the other people and making aware the other people, by educating them, and by just simply going either by visiting their events or by hosting them onto ours. It's just like, in this, everyone works together. No one plans or works in isolation. So it's all about expanding yourself and making sure you represent yourself, so that people be more aware and they can be part of your organization.
Thank you, Sarji. It's so nice for you to spend a few moments with us. Appreciate it very much. Vaisakhi Khalsa. Vaisakhi Khalsa, Vaisakhi Fateh. So I'm here with a very good friend of mine, actually, Navleen Kaur. It's a lovely person who I've known for a long time. She does some amazing work, and also fantastically musical too, Well, your middle name, your other middle name. Fantastically musical, that's 2 words. Okay, Navleen, I saw you when you were almost like the conductor, while the rest of the crew were doing a wonderful set of shabats, 3 in a row. Moon Mantar, and then they followed by the lovely song at the end too. Yeah. And I think it was Shabbat in the middle, right? Yeah. Tell us, is it important for you to come along to this thing and actually bring the kids along? I think it's the first time kids have ever been allowed at this kind of event.
We came to the MOD last year. As a Sikh chaplain, I normally work with different schools. But this time I took a big risk bringing children from primary school and St. John's from a secondary school. And so mixing the primary and the secondary, ability-wise, but also the fact that they were practicing with children from different faiths, so they weren't just Sikh children, and that's why I did a song at the end that was about, unifying humanity, the love of the Khalsa, love of humanity, because I think it's really important to get the message that the Sri Guru Granth Sahib and the teachings were not just for Sikhs, and they're not just for us to put under the Rumalle and the cover and Matha Tek. That spreading the message outside is really important.
Well, Guru Granth Sahib has got writings from different spiritual leaders as well, and prophets too,
Yeah, That's why I felt that, Ramsey, for example, is a Muslim boy, Lenore's Chinese, there's different people from different faith backgrounds, but when they come together, and as children, if we break down barriers now, when they're this age, then when they get older, there is no difference between a Sikh, Hindu, just like Guru Sahib said, Guru Nanak Dev Ji said. So living that message through practice, I think, is really important. And that's why we came along today. I think they did an amazing job.
They did an amazing job. Fantastic. So we're going to talk to you guys and ask you, how many hours did you get to prepare for this,
So I can't remember the exact number, but we did work hard. We worked together. So we all came in. So I came in this morning, and I had to bring a tabla, play, and then it was really hard in the beginning because I didn't know any of the Nishkam school children, and then so I had to kind of link with them, understand them, and how they play.
That's quite hard, isn't it? Because you didn't necessarily rehearse with them, but you had to do an adjustment, right?
Yeah. So then we started rehearsing, and as the time went along, we got better and better.
Fantastic. So, guys, brother and sister, right? Tell us, did you have fun today coming down here and performing in front of everyone?
Yes, we did have fun performing. I was really scared at first because I was talking to everyone on the microphone. And I was like, oh my God, I might mess up. But then I got along with it and I started doing it.
You focused on the mission at hand and you achieved it, right?
It was really exciting coming here because it's not an everyday thing that you get to do. And it was an amazing opportunity and it was great fun. So.
Do you think that it makes a difference to people when they come to this from all different backgrounds and they see you perform? Do you think that kind of changes the way they think about different people from different backgrounds?
Yeah, I think it does, probably.
How do you think that happens? What do you think is? How does it affect them? Do you think?
I think because they're listening. For example, when I said Mool Mantar, number one, Mool Mantar, people from the outside, they're different religions, they don't even know what Mool Mantar is. But as we explain that along, they know and they try to get along with it and they just start.
Absolutely, yeah, that's really good. So tell us, was it really hard to get in? Because there's a lot of security, isn't there, to get into the building? Did they actually make sure that you were okay when you got in?
Yeah, so when we came, it was like a 2-hour journey because of also traffic, and so when we came, we were all desperate for the loo, and we couldn't go in without a pass. So it took a while, but it was also really cool seeing all this high tech, and it was fun, and we were desperate as well. So.
Well, you all did amazingly well, and well done to the rest of the team who were with you, and all the rehearsals and stuff that you did, and all the preparation. You did awesome. That's the only word I can think of. And we wish you the best of luck in your future things that you do, and we look forward to seeing you again, and maybe at other events, or maybe this one again next time round. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'm with Tom Craig. You're actually from the Nishkam school, aren't you?
I'm the principal of Nishkam School, West London.
Fantastic. So I wanted to ask you just a quick question. Wonderful that you're here at this event, the Vaisakhi at the MOD. Do you think these kind of events are important? And do you think, there's two questions, do you think that it will help you influence how you teach kids about heritage, background, that kind of thing?
Definitely. And I think if you look at the pupils who have represented us today, there are a number of Sikh pupils, but there's also a Muslim pupil, there's a Buddhist, and a Hindu as well. And that really represents the Nishkam community, which is genuinely multi-faith. And we are really trying to promote the message that any pupil is free to express their spirituality and go on a journey with their spirituality at our school. And we actively promote that, and we actively promote them expressing their faith in assemblies, in lessons. The faith curriculum, RE curriculum, is therefore really, really important to us. All the pupils will do RE GCSE long term, and it's a key part of our curriculum. And reason, we teach a reason for the pupils to be effectively. So yeah, very important.
And so something like this, you'll take back to the school. Would you share with them the experience that you had today?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm certain it will go in our newsletter tomorrow. if we can quickly get the pictures from the official photographer, they'll go on our Facebook page as well, and we'll share those with the parents, who I'm sure will be really proud. But it's also great for the pupils to have an opportunity to show their own confidence, and things like this make them grow as individuals, I think, and show a sense of pride in their faith, in their school as well.
Fantastic. So wonderful to meet you. Thanks so much for coming down, and also good luck with, I think you've got a major construction going on as well.
New school building opening in September, so yeah, wish us luck.
Good luck with that. Thank you. Thank you. I'm actually here with Balbir Singh. And Balbir Singh.
Yes.
Okay, so Balbir Singh, correct me if I'm wrong, you are from the RAF.
That's right.
And Balbir Singh, you are from the Armed Forces. Yeah, absolutely. So I had a basic question to ask both of you. Why do you think this event is so important? And in terms of, and was it great? Did you enjoy it?
I definitely enjoyed it, and as you well know, Sikhi is about inclusion of all different faiths, and that's what our gurus teach us. So celebrating Vaisakhi here in the MOD with people from all walks of life and different faiths and stuff, I think it's very, very important to get the wider message out there.
And they did a fantastic job in organisation and everything, didn't they?
Definitely. I mean, the food was good as well. So we had refreshments, drinks, which is the saver bit. So we can't miss that bit out. And obviously the program as well, a bit of Keithan, a bit of knowledge. And then a bit of Gutka as well. Definitely very good.
No, we know each other for a while because
we do, yes.
We've done a bike ride together.
That's right.
The Saka bike ride, and you are now you're both of you actually are warrant officers, right? And that's a pretty experienced, powerful role, right?
It is, because obviously on the ground trades or ground ranks side, we've got to the top of our chain now, so it's quite a powerful position, I would say. It's a position where we can go and talk to senior officers and stuff like that, and it's a rank that signifies that you have a lot of experience and something to offer.
Thank you so much. Good to see you again. Balbir Singh, interesting, you were just telling a quick tale when there were some other junior officers came straight in, and they came to see you, didn't they?
They came to see us, both of us. The thing is because of the experience of us and them. They are officers, yes. They have the authority. But with us both of us, we have the experience. Between him and me, we have 80 years of experience. Okay, with them, they might have 10 years experience. So this is why they come and talk to us first, then they go to the junior ranks, because they know when we tell them that something is not right, they'll know. And also, to do it in an MOD place, okay, especially a Vaisakhi thing, is to show the hierarchy that there's other cultures within the armed forces, okay, and it's not just exclusive to the white or the Christian side of it, okay. So this is what's been happening here today.
Do you enjoy the event? I think it's really well put together.
Very good to put together, especially the children. The children were good. I love the children. They were good. So on that score, I have nothing.
So wonderful to meet both of you. So good that you've to see you again. I'll remember to get those patke off you. The royal up.
That's right. I'm glad that you're still supporting the Air Force and have, still got that patka that I gave you 20 odd years ago. I'll definitely endeavour to replace it quickly for you.
I appreciate that. My daughter's saying, yeah, when are you going to get that faded patka replaced,
It'd be my pleasure.
Thank you so much. Good to meet you. Wish you all the best in the future. Thank you. Okay, I'm with Warrant, another warrant officer, actually. I'm so honoured that I've met so many warrant officers today. Very powerful role. Is Ashok Chauhan. So nice to see you. I have to say, the first thing I saw, you were running around everywhere. What's going on? What's happening?
Well, my job is obviously, I'm part of the Army Civil Engagement Team, and it's there to make sure save us. So everybody comes in and out, make sure people get in, because obviously it's a military building, and it's you need to be escorted. So I've got to make sure everybody gets in and has a good time.
Tell us a little bit about something special that's happening in Southall, because this is a fantastic event that was organised. There's another one happening as well, isn't there, which is also important?
Yes, it is. It's on the 15th of September in the Southall Reserve Centre, Army Reserve Centre, which is just off the Broadway as you're heading towards Hayes. It's the Sarigari celebrations. We're 21 Sikhs fought against 10,000 Pashtuns. And what we'd like to do is, as many as our brothers and sisters, to come and support the event. It will be a fantastic event. You'll have catering, you'll have displays, and it's not about joining the army, it's to see the recognition of our forefathers, our ancestors did, so we have a fantastic life.
We owe it to them in terms of the freedom that we have today, right?
I always say that, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be living in such a fantastic world. And and at the end of the day, we should never forget the heroes that sacrificed their lives for us to have a super day.
Fantastic. So thank you so much for reminding us of that, all your hard work, and we look forward to seeing you then, hopefully. Okay, I'm very honoured to be with part of the team organised it. I mean, I've got Gurcharan here, and also I've got the Sikh Chaplain of the Army. So wonderful to meet you today. Incredible. We also have the fantastic Lady Singh. You know her from all the other charity work and educational stuff she does, which is amazing. So it's good to have such great company who work so hard all year round on other projects. Now, specifically about this project, what do you think was the biggest challenge? Because like you said, we were just talking a minute ago, you were part of the team. What were some of the challenges involved in getting it together? Because it does take time, doesn't it?
It definitely takes time. Probably the biggest challenge was, I think, coordinating amongst ourselves with our day jobs and ensuring that we had a programme that was fit for purpose, that could actually explain what Sikhi is all about, but still be able to deliver to a non-Sikh audience.
It's really good, and I think it was wonderful, the variety of what you had. You had artists, you had, the kids doing kirtan and singing. You also had some really brilliant speeches.
We did, we really did. We wanted to have an event that showed kind of exactly what the department's all about, embracing diversity, having all sorts of differences come in, and I hope through the agenda we showed that.
You did. I think it was really good. We had Lord Singh there as well. Came straight from the House of Lords to answer some more questions, and actually give out his message about the importance of Vaisakhi and the history behind it as well. We had an opportunity to interview him earlier. Lady Singh, you do a lot of other projects, don't you? And so nice that you came down today.
Thank you very much. Yes, I am very much involved because my husband's very much involved, and just to help him, I started. But I'm as involved as he is. And my today's job was just to make sure he arrives here because he had to be in the House of Lords first, and so I was giving him all sort of directions how to have shortcuts and come here. And it's very, very important, Vaisakhi, for us Sikhs. It's a time to give the message because in this country, as I'm in education, I'm officer inspector, we are always inspecting equality, diversity, respect for other religions, democracy, and that's exactly what Vaisakhi teaches us. Guru Gobind Singh gave Amrit, but then he took Amrit from the Panj Pyare, showing the equality of human beings. And he said, from now onwards, the Sikhs are not to believe in any caste system, no high or low, not to mix other religion with our religion. So I'm always fighting that Guru Granth Sahib is our Guru and nobody else.
Fantastic words. Thank you so much. We'll put it into practice. Now, you're the chaplain, and you were part of the team too, and you were the main MC for tonight too, or I should say during the day. I'm saying tonight. I wish it could carry on actually into the evening. I think there's so much to communicate, but I think you did it really well in terms of the conciseness, the variety. How do you think it went today? Because you were chairing the whole thing in terms of like the master of ceremonies.
I will reflect back in the train what happened. But to answer your question, I think it went really well. The whole idea was to broaden this up to a wider society because Sikhs should know what Vaisakhi means to them. But other people don't. Why we're celebrating this, why we look like this, why we behave in a certain way. So the idea is to open up this event as wide as we can. And I think our team did a great job to do that. And we had people from all backgrounds, walks of life, and they were able to then understand why we do things in a certain way. And I think my whole mission was that, along with my team, that we can raise awareness about who we are, what 5K means, what Vaisakhi means to us, what's the value of Vaisakhi today in our life. Is it something historic we celebrate once a year, okay, had samosa or jalebi, or that's the job done, or it has got something which we live in every day. And I think we fulfilled that message today, and I'm grateful to Vaiguru for giving us this opportunity to having done this, and I think with grace of Vaiguru it went well.
You did really well. The whole team did fantastic. I just wanted to ask you a quick question about the chaplain work that you do. I think somebody made a really interesting observation. They were actually in the auditorium, the atrium, which is the main auditorium for the whole event, and people were looking from the windows. They were looking through the window. That's quite interesting, isn't it?
Absolutely. And when I was standing here, I was taking pictures myself and making some live videos for the Gatka, and I actually videoed them who were looking through the windows, because that's the whole idea of doing that in this place. Last year we did half of the event here and half upstairs in the main conference suite. And when we did here, people were just coming in, having a look what we are doing. So I know the echo in this building was not perfect, but the idea was that people can come in rather than making it very formal, and then they can just talk to people and learn more about it. But this is fascinating to have people from all walks of life and just to come and talk to others as well.
You support people in the field, right? Is that what a chaplain mainly does, yeah?
Yeah, so basically my main primary role is to offer responsibility to all the Sikhs who want 3 services, Navy, Army, Air Force, and offer them moral, pastoral and spiritual support as they require, and their dependents as well.
I think the team have done incredibly well, haven't they done?
Congratulate Mandeep and say the word. Once, when she was appointed, my husband came back and I asked him, who's got the job? He says, I've appointed the best man for the job, and that's a woman, Mandeep Kaur. We are so pleased, we are delighted. She's doing a wonderful job looking after the services.
She's done amazingly well. And Gurcharan, I know we were the main contact, but you had everything really well organised in terms of logistics. People are going to pick people up, trying to get them through security, getting all the food organised with everyone else. And what was quite interesting, I think this year, you had split roles and responsibilities for different areas, didn't you? So I was looking through your programme. That's a really interesting way of splitting out the work. Do you think that worked well? Do you do things any differently next year, do you think?
I think, as Mandeep said, we definitely need to reflect on the organisation, but it was a fantastic team effort. We had some great support from the military as well, who helped us out. So it kind of just is, for me, MOD culture. Everyone pitches in, gets together, which is what we do in Sikhi as well. So it's great.
Fantastic. I'd just like to say goodbye from the Ministry of Defence. Thanks so much for allowing Sikh Channel to come in with their cameras. We tried our best to adhere to the procedures, and there are lots of procedures which are very important to follow. And we hope you've enjoyed this programme this time round. I'd like to say thanks very much to all the organising committee. Thanks to the MOD. Thanks to everyone who's been involved. A real team effort. I really love what you said before about the fact that everyone putting together from all the different parts of the organisation, and great to have some fantastic guests.